Good evening and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Business. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. You can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and on Amazon Fire TV, and now on KGNG channel 26.8 TV in Las Vegas. Of course, you can always listen to us on our PHLV radio app or get our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We have an awesome show lined up for you tonight. We are going to talk to a good friend of mine covering what's new in the healthcare industry, community engagement, importance of building trust and educating your clients, and of course, learning about one of the largest health insurance providers in the United States, a Fortune 500 company, Humana. So without further ado, let's bring in my guest for tonight. He is the director for Humana in Nevada. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend, Kevin Green. Good evening, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing great, Sonny. Thanks for having me. Good evening.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Kevin and I met about 3 years ago when I was still president of the Asian Chamber.
Yeah.
Time goes by fast.
Hey, time flies when you're having fun and staying busy, right?
That's right. Well, let's start with this. Please tell the audience about yourself. How long have you been with Humana? Where are you from? What are you doing before joining Humana?
Yeah, sure. First and foremost, I'm a man of faith.
Okay.
I'm a husband and I'm a father. And what I do, my occupation is I'm a sales director for Humana. So I oversee all sales channels for the state of Nevada and Northern California, which is really everything north of Los Angeles, Ventura County, and north all the way up to San Francisco. So, that's my work. And I've been with Humana for over a decade.
Wow. And
I've been blessed to kind of climb up through the ranks. So I started as a sales rep in Youngstown, Ohio, a small town out there in the Midwest, and transitioned to East Texas, where I ran a sales team in one of the largest markets in the country in East Texas, Dallas area. And I've been in Las Vegas for almost 3 years now, running the market here. So, the organization has been great. For me, it's a company that has values that really aligned with my own personal growth and what I wanted to accomplish as a professional. And just been able to, in my opinion, impact so many lives, not just the folks that I work with and my team, but the consumers we work with. There's been so many touching stories, and so that's been a big part of my story. I've traveled with this organization across the country because I believe in them, and thankfully they believe in me. And but prior to that, I was my previous I've kind of fell into sales. So I'm in insurance sales, and I think a lot of people, if you ask them, they fall into the industry.
Yeah.
So my previous vision and goal, I graduated from West Virginia University.
Okay.
And I studied news ed and journalism.
No kidding.
I kind of wanted to be you.
I think you should be here.
Yeah, but it just didn't. It never really. I got into sales and things just kind of took off for me. But in my past life, I was a sports writer for the local school.
Wow.
And
okay.
going to all the football games, basketball games, being in a locker room, and that was a lot of fun while it lasted. So I was able to take some of those skill sets and they've translated into my current role. But I think that's my story in a nutshell.
Funny how that works out, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really. Now, I did notice you keep on moving west. Is this it? Las Vegas?
Yeah, there's not. I can't move much more west, and it was actually so I don't miss digging my car out of the snow. Living in Ohio, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So
oh my goodness,
harsh winters.
Yeah.
And my wife is from Ohio, so being out here in Vegas, people are, hey, it's so hot, and I say I can't get enough of it.
Gotcha.
I love to feel like I'm on fire. So so I think we're going to stay west for as long as possible.
It's funny. My old pastor from the church that we have is from Ohio. Big Buckeye fan, of course.
Okay,
so.
Very good.
All right, let's talk about Humana. Obviously, a great company. Like I said earlier, a Fortune 500 company, one of the largest health insurance providers. Please tell us more about the company and what makes it so successful.
Yeah, we're really proud of the growth. As I mentioned, I've been with the organization over a decade, so I've really kind of seen us evolve and grow as an organization. And currently, we are, we're the number 2 Medicare Advantage company in the country, and that wasn't always the case. I mean, Fortune 500, we've grown. We're Fortune 40 right now.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way as an organization, and how we got there is, we have a theme or a motto. It's called Human Care.
Okay.
And what that means is that we just try to show up for each individual and meet them exactly where they want to be met. Regardless of your race or creed or beliefs, we can all agree on health and wellness should be important to us.
Yeah.
So we try to provide tools to help people on that journey. And we have many different options to do that, specifically here in Nevada. So, so I think that's where Humana probably resonates with a lot of folks.
Very good. Since you mentioned Medicare, I do want to ask you. So Medicare is the federal government health insurance for people over 65 and those who have certain disabilities. The Medicare Advantage and Prescription Drug Plan annual enrollment period, or AEP for short, is when enrollees can change their health and prescription drug plan coverage. Mm-hmm. And I know it's here now, right?
Yeah. So it's overwhelming. I think that's the thing. So it's even a mouthful, I think, just to explain it.
Yeah.
So folks that are on Medicare traditionally are 65 and older, or you could be on Medicare through disability prior to that. So it's to help folks.
Autism covered with that? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Is autism covered with that too?
It can be.
It can be, okay.
If they, there's certain ways to qualify through disability. After 2 years, then you'll automatically be enrolled into Medicare, and that could be one case. And there's other cases that would qualify for that as well.
Okay.
But really, when you think about Medicare, we have the ABCs of Medicare.
Uh-huh.
So there's Medicare Part A. That's your hospital insurance, which helps cover things like hospital care, nursing facilities, hospice. That comes as part of Medicare, so you don't need to do anything. Then there's Part B is your medical insurance, and that covers your more typical doctor visits. It could be mental health. It could be getting a second opinion before surgery. And for those, there's a premium to enroll in Part B. Mm-hmm. Then there's Part C, and that's what Humana does.
Okay.
So Humana, combines Part A and B. You don't lose any of those privileges that you would get with the original Medicare, but it also covers some of the gaps that you would not get through original Medicare.
Okay.
So things like ancillary benefits. It could be vision. It could be dental. It could be hearing coverage. But it also helps lower costs in the forms of, co-pays and things like prescription drug coverage, which is probably the most important. I'd be remiss not to mention prescription drug coverage, which is also called Part D, not to confuse folks, but you can have just prescription drug coverage as Part D, or you can have a full package. We call that Medicare Part C, Medicare Advantage. And that's where you wrap in the A plus B plus D equals C. So we're going to geometry school today. Yeah. So that's where the Humana representatives come into play, and they say, hey, we're going to help you make sense of all these things, and you want to review these benefits annually because you have an annual enrollment period, which is in effect right now.
This is your Super Bowl. This is your busy season. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's really a handful, and there's so much information to learn about that.
Yeah.
Now, I know one of the things that we've talked about in this show a lot is community engagement.
Yeah.
And in fact, my very good friend Anna from Humana, which really is great rhyme, whom I consider really one of the best when it comes to community engagement.
Yeah.
Kevin, why is community engagement so important, and how does it help Humana with its success?
Well, I think it's really twofold. So first and foremost, it helps us get out in the community and connect with the folks to let them know that we're here for you. So we meet many of the folks that become, consumers of Humana. We've met at some form of event, whether it be, a multicultural event or maybe with a veteran organization. Here in Las Vegas, we have 3 Humana neighborhood centers, which are retail, brick and mortar Humana locations that folks can just come in, and we have social activities that they can participate in. We have coffee, we have snacks, but we also do some fun classes for our senior population too, where anything from, there's knitting classes, there's silver sneakers, which are fitness classes, and it goes on and on. We do crafts and things for holidays. We make it fun. So being out there in the community, it just helps us share our voice of, hey, here's the options for you. Because again, we call it the maze of Medicare. It can get confusing, and we want folks to feel like they have resources to help them through that.
In fact, I know that you're very big in the veteran space as well.
Yeah.
And if first, would you give us a quick overview of the? Well, you did that, and as far as the options are concerned. But in terms of veterans, just tell us what you guys do with veterans.
Yeah. Well, I think there's an important distinction there too, Sonny, because a lot of times veterans, when they're retired, some may qualify for VA benefits, and they'll use VA hospitals and things like that, and they'll have different coverages and privileges through that. And something that is often missed is that even folks that already have VA coverage probably want to look at a Medicare Advantage plan as something to back them up.
Okay.
So, we've heard stories of folks where, maybe there's a waiting period to get in the VA, or they want a second opinion from a public doctor that maybe they wouldn't normally have access to. In addition to that, Humana has plans designed specifically for veterans. One's called the Humana Honor Plan.
Okay.
And that actually helps pay back that Part B premium for veterans that qualify. So we talked about how you actually have to pay the cost to be enrolled in Part B with Medicare. And with Humana's Medicare Advantage, not only do you have access to those benefits, but you're going to get that money back in your bank account just for being a member.
Wow. Like I said, a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we get back, we're going to talk more about this. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Just like a friend from back home.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
PHLV Radio.
Come back. Wow, we've been talking to Kevin over here with Humana, and obviously everything that we've talked about, there's so many things to learn about the healthcare and different insurance plans, so what's good for you. So one of the things, Kevin, that Anna and I discuss all the time is really the benefits of educating your clients, and I think that's the theme here. I mean, when listening to you, there's so many different things to learn, and I do love her stance that she always tells me about being an educator more than a salesperson, because it's really important to really be able to tell people what's good for them and making the right decision. Can you speak to that strategy and why that really works?
Yeah, and I think and that probably resonates when I told you before, Sonny, about my background and being in news ed and journalism. And for me, I think what helped me in my career was that natural curiosity that I took from being in news editorial, where I was asking questions and trying to get to the root of the problem, or how do people really feel about this issue. And so we've learned to carry that over into our system with Humana.
Okay.
So for example, when someone sits down with Anna, just for an example, a licensed Medicare Advantage agent, first and foremost, there's no cost to meet with someone like that.
Yeah.
And secondly, there's no obligation.
Okay.
But when you meet with someone like Anna, she's going to ask questions first. And, through that interview process, we're going to help align, again, to what are the core needs of this particular person. Is it prescription drug coverage? Do I need transportation to my provider? Are financials an issue, and I need help, affording groceries? And do I qualify for extra benefits? And there's lots of different avenues and things. Who are my providers, and what's important to me? And do they need to be bilingual, or do they need to be somewhere, in a certain area, that's important to me? So someone like Anna, who works directly for Humana, is going to be able to connect all those dots for the individual. And again, it's at no cost. And she's just going to read through exactly what the benefits of the plan are.
Okay.
And then help zoom in on those, because as you know, sometimes insurance linguise is like, okay, what does that really mean? So she's gonna translate it to where it makes sense to the consumer. So I think that's the real value of meeting with someone like Anna.
I really like that. I used to be a commercial banker before I entered state service. And one of the things that I love about the bank that I worked in is we were trained that instead of being a salesperson, be a real partner and look for tailored solutions, not just sell anything that sticks on the wall. So I do love that approach.
1000%.
Yeah, and so it kind of leads to that next I know strategy that you guys have, which is building that relationship and trust with your clients.
Yeah.
And why is that so important in this business?
Yeah, well, again, it's just, if I'm going to make a decision as important as my health care, I'm going to need to trust the person who's helping me along with that, right? So I would say, and we understand that trust is earned. So I think it goes back to that community impact. So when you see us out there, boots on the street, and we're helping in different initiatives, and we're visible, and we're real people, you're not, talking to a machine, you're not calling 1-800, it's in a different country somewhere, and they don't know your problems, and they don't know what's going on in your backyard. These are folks that are local, and they understand those things. So I think first and foremost, it kind of helps connect the dots and build that relationship. But in addition to that, someone like Anna or a licensed Medicare Advantage agent, we stay in touch. It's not a one-time communication. So it's something where we're gonna invite our consumer base to allow us to stay in touch with them and say, hey, if you don't mind, I'd love to check in with you, because health can change, and it can change rapidly over a year's time. So it's important that I'm in tune with what your needs are, because there may be opportunities we can make adjustments throughout the year or maybe next year, and so on and so forth. So that's where building a relationship, I think, for Humana is really important when we're talking with our consumers.
I love that strategy. I love that. Okay, now let's talk about this. According to the National Council on Aging, older adults are increasingly retiring with more debt due to medical expenses and credit cards. So, from Humana, about how Humana's Medicare plans can help those experiencing problems, how can we help them with that?
Yeah, it's a loaded question. So I'll try to give you some specifics.
Sure.
So folks that are dealing with financial stress, and I think we're all living in that world, right? So I think we all can relate to that. There's programs that are available. So some folks may qualify for Medicaid and Medicare, and in that case, it's called dual eligibility. So eligibility. Okay. There's two coordinating plans that are going to help them cover their health coverage. And in that regard, Humana has specific plans for that person. And the way that we show up is just not only do we cover the health care, so the cost to see a primary doctor and a specialist is a zero cost. We call it a zero copay. But in addition to that, they may qualify for additional benefits, one of which is a healthy options allowance. Okay. Which is $125 for them to pay for groceries, or towards their rent, or towards gas,
just anything that can help them.
And those things, and it rolls over on a monthly basis. Okay. And it's for the entire year. So that's just one example. Or it could be the additional dental coverage that they needed. I can't afford to have the procedures I need to have done. Where does Humana step up? Well, we're going to step in there and provide additional benefits to help you meet those needs. And another benefit may be the transportation benefit, where hey, I would love to go see my provider, but I don't have a way to get there. Well, Humana's going to handle that for you. We're going to help you either through the provider directly. We'll have a transportation source, or through Humana's Medicare Advantage benefit. We have vendors that'll help folks get to and from their provider.
Wow, Kevin, that's fantastic. I was just in a nonprofit event yesterday morning, and it's something about dental work for underprivileged. And we were just talking about how a lot of people don't go to dentists because of the cost. So anything like that would really help. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, dental is huge. And so all of Humana's plans in the state of Nevada include dental, vision, and hearing benefits.
Fantastic.
So there's lots of different options.
Fantastic. As a public servant, I always try to encourage leaders who excel in their industry to be more involved, and I'm not sure if you already knew, but I'm really proud to say that Anna has been a commissioner now for aging.
Wow.
So can you just tell us what advocacy is so important when it comes to, at
Yeah.
least in our business, in your business?
Well, first, cheers to Anna.
Yeah.
She's earned the right to be, visible in the community. It's so funny because I get pulled aside on the street all the time about, hey, oh, you're with Humana. Do you know Anna? And I said, yeah, I know Anna.
That's funny.
So, and I get that all the time. So, but also, yeah, I think advocacy is about partnership.
Yeah.
And again, I think with Humana and my vision for Humana here in Nevada and Northern California is it's not just the consumer. It's not just my sales team. There's providers that are involved.
Yeah.
So, I try to connect the dots. I call it the circle of life. I feel like building relationships with the providers that are in our network, building relationships with our consumer base and our sales team, and finding ways to be out there in the community and to be advocates for our folks in the community. Is something that we try to do. I mean, we were really proud to be recognized by the Asian Chamber of Commerce this year as the corporation of the year. I mean, I was literally floored by that honor. I could not believe it.
I love that. Yeah.
But it's just part of doing the good work and being good servants to the community.
Well, Kevin, I gotta say, ever since we've met, ever since you've really come onto this community, it's been great. You've been very, very supportive of Anna being part of this community, really, and really growing. And we cannot thank you enough, man. So
yeah, no, it's my pleasure. Do you mind if I give her a shameless plug? I would like. Can
Sure.
I give Anna's phone number? So for folks that are listening and you want to learn more about their Medicare or review their Medicare benefits, Anna Ladow is our local sales representative, and she is also bilingual, Tagalog and English speaking. Her phone number is 702-235-8539. And just one more time, 702-235-8539. And right now, we're in that annual enrollment period. So even if you just want to review and say, hey, I'm not sure, I think I'm good here, but I'm not 100%, please call Anna and meet us at one of our Humana neighborhood centers. Have a coffee, have some popcorn or a snack, sit down with her, and we'll be happy to go over those benefits with you.
thank you so much. By the way, I want to thank you. You've been so supportive, even if with our office when we do these. I call them kind of like our resource team, and we would always meet in your home.
Oh, yeah.
So I appreciate that.
You
Thank you.
at our neighborhood center. Yeah. So and we even have we host some of our local veterans organizations there after hours and other organizations. And so again, we have activity centers that are with a full calendar of events and even online events too. So for folks, get your Google machine out there, look up Humana Neighborhood Center. We have locations in North Vegas, in Henderson, and in Summerlin. And we even have a small location out there in Pahrump for listeners also, with lots of activities and full-time customer service on site.
Nice. All right, so I know this is your busy season. Once it wraps up, what's next? What's new for you?
Well, after the annual enrollment period, the buck doesn't stop there. So we just transition into the rest of the year. There are folks that are joining Medicare year round. So there's always a need for the products that we do. But I think it's just going to be about pivoting as we go into 24 and just thinking about what's our vision moving forward. How do we get more involved in the community? I'm sure that there's probably folks that are listening here today that are part of a community organization that's looking for support, maybe extra hands to roll up their sleeves, or maybe it's financial, or there's other ways that Humana might fit in. So I would invite those folks to reach out to us and see if there's ways to partner to show up in the community.
All
and
right.
I hope, Sonny, if I have any time, I might do a little golfing, but we'll see.
Well, the Asian Chamber's having their golf tournament again.
And I'll be there. So I want folks to come say hello. We will be there. But yeah, if I have any time, that's what I try to do.
That sounds good. You're definitely the right place for that. Kevin, I cannot appreciate you coming in the show tonight. Thank you again, and good luck.
God bless. Thanks for having me.
Take
Appreciate it.
care. That is our show for tonight. Until next week, take care.